I know you might be shocked to see a reading vlog from me with only, I think, 3 books in the thumbnail, because weekend reading with Rosie that doesn't involve 10 books. But hey, there's a first time for everything. I promise I'm not a pod person. Everyone, Rosie here. I'm meant to be starting on meal prep and eating my lasagna from last week and just like starting my vlog and listening to an audiobook, but instead I can't stop eating Storm chips, and I think I'm gonna watch TV while I meal prep because like it is nice to be a social person who does things with their partner and doesn't just like listen to audiobooks 24/7. So fingers crossed I'll actually get some reading done on the first day of my reading vlog, but it's not looking promising so far. That's actually not totally true. I did go for a walk after work and before dinner, but I had really optimistic plans for reading so much tonight, and I feel like it might be a hashtag regenerative activity night. Remind me to explain regenerative activities later. Basically, as expected, 0 reading got done this evening so far, other than listening to an hour or so of Crocodile and the Sandbank by Elizabeth Peters while on my walk. I'm reading that one for March Mystery Madness. There's so many readathons, or not so many. All the readathons are just M's, so it's very confusing. But yes, I'm reading that one for March Mystery Madness. I'm not too sure what the mystery is yet, and I'm probably 3 or 4 chapters into the book, so that's intriguing. That's interesting. I wonder where that's gonna go. Very excited to keep listening to that over the weekend. Now that I've got some stuff out of the way, I'm going to work on the book that I'm buddy reading. I'm currently buddy reading American Cuisine and How It Got This Way by Paul Freedman with Kim of Bookmarks and Breadsticks. I will link her channel down below. We're having a really great time discussing this book. It's really fascinating. It covers a lot of material, so there's a lot to get through, and I'm a bit behind right now because I've had a pretty busy week and haven't really had time to read. So I'm hoping to read 1 chapter of that tonight. I want to get chapter 6 read. I think it's going to take like half an hour, so that's pretty doable. Like an hour. Definitely do that. It's not that late yet. And maybe I'll start something else. I'm only reading the 2 books right now, the buddy read and the audiobooks, so I know, crazy. Starting a vlog without 5 books on the go? I'm sure I'll have 5 books on the go by the time we're done this though. I don't plan to, but I'm sure I will. It always happens. Oh, and I said I was going to explain regenerative activity, which no one is interested in this but me, I'm sure. But I was working on providing some comments on a paper at work today that was about time use, like how much of people's time is going paid work and unpaid work and leisure activities, and you get the idea. It's actually very interesting. But one of the categories of like things you can do with your time is called regenerative activities, which is basically like sleeping, eating, bathing, all of those things that are essential to like keep your body alive. And for some reason my brain thinks that it's going to be really fun to call, you know, cooking food and all of that type of stuff regenerative activities. It's probably not fun at all. I listened to a couple more chapters of Crocodile on the Sandbank while I was doing some chores and stuff this morning. It's actually almost lunchtime now, but I had some stuff to get done, so I didn't start vlogging until just now. But yeah, I've listened to another chapter and a half, and I think I saw a review somewhere for Crocodile on the Sandbank that said that like this is mislabeled, it's not actually a mystery, and I'm starting to wonder if that's really accurate because I'm now 5.5 chapters into the book, I think, and there's still no mystery. There's the beginnings of like, ooh, what's going on type stuff, but it's not a mystery. Like no one's died, nothing. Well, there's a missing mummy, that's about it, but like, did I say what the setting for that one was? I don't think so. It's set in the 1880s in Egypt. We've got a wealthy heiress who's in like her 30s, unmarried, and she's like, her dad's just died, and she's like, holy shit, I've got all this money. I'm gonna go see Egypt. She's like really scholarly and stuff. Anyway, so she's off exploring Egypt, and you know, stuff's happening. It's an interesting book, but yeah, it doesn't feel like a mystery so far, which honestly has been the case with like everything I picked up from March Mystery Madness, so that's not great. Except for the murder of Roger Ackroyd. That was Oh shit, these are so uneven. There, that works. That works. I want my hair to look cute for this live that I'm doing in like an hour with Kim of Bookmarks and Breadsticks and Amrita and Amy of Potato Brarian. So I will link that down below because obviously it'll be live before you're seeing this vlog. But also it's Saturday. There's a lot going on. I'm too lazy to fuss around more. So if my hair is uneven, just gonna have to deal with it. This is not a beauty channel, so why am I talking about my hair? Yes, Victorian archaeology in Egypt. You can imagine some of the issues that come with that, especially when the book was written in the 70s. I'll talk about that later or in my wrap-up or something because I'm still trying to work out like how exactly I want to phrase my thoughts on it. But it is interesting and it is an enjoyable read, so that's good. Like I said, I've got this live, and I guess we'll see where the day goes from here. Sorry, I was so excited to vlog this weekend, and there's just like a lot of stuff, like life admin stuff going on in the background that's got me so distracted. But I'm gonna try my best to focus on reading and focus on having a relaxing weekend and not letting stress eat me up from inside. Well, speak of the devil, or in this case, speak of the mummy, because within, like, I swear, 30 seconds of starting my audiobook again, just after I had told you guys that nothing had really happened yet and I wasn't totally sure what was going on, of course, there's a mysterious mummy that seems to have come to life, which, okay, stuff's happening. It's still kind of slow-paced, honestly, like, over halfway through the book, and things are just starting to pick up, I would say, but it's fun, it's interesting. Is it a curse? Is it someone playing a prank? We shall see. I'm worried there's not going to be that much actual reading done this weekend because I think it's like 3 o'clock already and I've still got a video to edit and then I have plans this evening with my partner, but hopefully, maybe eventually, maybe tomorrow I'll manage to read an actual book. I've just read a really interesting chapter in American Cuisine about variety and options and how this is focused on the US, obviously, but I think a lot of what this chapter is talking about applies to Canada as well. So how in North America, for the last century or so, we've been inundated with options and varieties to distract us from lower quality food. So they're saying like, yeah, okay, our convenience products aren't as great and as good as homemade, but you can get 50 different kinds and they're right on the shelf and it's so easy and you can have whatever flavor you want. It was a really, really interesting chapter to read and honestly has made me think about my own food purchasing habits and my own preferences a lot. I don't have any answers or any like interesting insights to share exactly. It's just sort of made me consider how much of that I just take for granted. How much do I take for granted the not great quality foods? Would I feel differently about foods if I actually made the effort and spent the money to get really, really good quality local foods for as much as possible? Like I said, I don't have any answer. It was just an interesting and thought-provoking chapter to read. Now that I've got the important parts of my evening out of the way, you know, dinner, watching TV, making brownies, all those things that you've just really got to make sure you get done on a Saturday night. Now that that's taken care of, it's like 10:20, which actually isn't even that early for me to be going to bed, but I've been staying up late lately, so I'm going to try and at least start reading early because it is dreaded daylight savings time, like overnight tonight. I never know how that works, but you know what I mean. I'm losing an hour of sleep and I'm not happy about it. So, I'm gonna try and go to bed early. Before I do, I'm going to start reading Wyntertide by Andrew Caldecott again. I started reading it last night, but I got maybe 5 pages, and half of those my eyes were like, I was falling asleep and opening my eyes, reading a sentence, falling asleep type thing. So then I'm going to start at the beginning again, see what's going on. I should maybe look up a summary of Rotherweird because this is a sequel and it's been like a year since I read the original. And while I remember really enjoying Rotherweird, I don't totally remember where we were when it wrapped up. But you know what? I don't want to do research. I just want to start reading a fun novel. So I assume I'll figure it out as I go, and if I don't, I can stop and research when I'm confused. This is a fantasy ish. I can't remember if there's fantasy elements or not. You guys know me, I'm no good at actually knowing what I'm reading before I start reading it, so hopefully I'm going to actually read some of this book tonight, and tomorrow I can tell you about what it's about. As many of you probably experienced for yourselves this past weekend, daylight savings time sucks. It's dumb. Who actually likes it? Why do we have it? Let's get rid of it. Goodbye daylight savings time, please. Okay, rant over. Actually talk about books. Wyntertide. The Rotherweird series is definitely fantasy. I realized that within like 5 pages of reading. I don't know how I completely forgot that aspect of the first book, but that brings me to my main point that I want to talk about this morning. I'm now like 8% of the way into the book, so almost 1/10 of the way. It's, you know, a sizable amount, and I'm really regretting not reading this book last year. It's been over a year since I read Rotherweird, and I loved that book. I thought it was so good. I thought it was amazing. I was really into it. And then I just didn't read the sequel. I think because I'd bought the first book, but I hadn't bought the second book, and I felt like, oh man, I should read more books that I own before I buy more books type thing. And I think I've realized that I need to make a bit of an exception for that with sequels, because I think I would be enjoying the introduction to this book and like the start of this book so much more if I'd read it like a month after I'd read the first book. But instead it's probably like 13 or 14 months later, and I've forgotten a lot of stuff. And stuff is coming back and I'm remembering, but especially with this one, the setup is really written in a way where it's following from the last book. It's not explicitly explaining what happened, but the events of the last book are still impacting the characters in this book, as is often the case in series. It's why they're series, not just a bunch of standalone novels. This is probably like a duh, of course moment for a lot of you, but it's been really informative for me this year where I've been reading way more sequels. And it's also made me change how I think about buying books. Like, I'm letting myself buy sequels way more easily, but I've taken all of the first book in new series type books and put them in their own wish list that I don't even look at, because I figure I have so many first books that I either already own or series that I'm already reading, and I want to read some of those and then start buying new first books when I can actually read through them. Hopefully this will work out better. Hopefully I will have less of this, oh man, I love that book, but I have no memory of what happened by the time I get to the sequel moments in the future. But now, it's Sunday morning. I've got basically nothing I need to do today. I think maybe caption a video and do like the thumbnail and stuff at some point. So I've made some tea. It's time to settle in and read. I've read 40% of Wyntertide now, so I've made a lot of progress. I've read like 1/3 of the book today, and I'll probably read some more. Why not? This is so fun. It sounds so dumb, but I'd forgotten how fun it can be to just be like, hey, I've got not much to do today, and I'm just gonna get into this one book. Anyways, now that I'm a ways more into the book, I'm remembering that I'm not supposed to understand everything. This is a book that is confusing. There's a lot going on. It's very complicated. There's a lot of characters. There's a lot of plot happening, but it's not clear what exactly that plot is, where it's going, who's involved, who's doing what. It's that type of book. So I think, yes, I was a bit confused at the beginning about who was who and what was happening, but that's sort of the style of the book. And I suspect if I read the third fairly close after this one, I'm still gonna feel a lot of this because that's the book. This is sort of like Stuart Turton, so The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle and The Devil in the Dark Water. Not at all the same tone exactly. It's a very different book, but if you like that style, or if you know that style of what's going on, everything's confusing, I'm not totally sure who's who, what's happening, this series by Andrew Caldecott feels sort of similar. Everything might look exactly the same, but it is a little while later now. And I just realized that the clock on my Kindle does not automatically reset itself, so it is now an hour earlier than it should be. I won't lie, a naughty thought passed through my brain that I should leave it early so I can let myself read later at night, because my brain will be like, oh, it's only 10 when it's actually 11. But then I remember the type of person I am when I get overtired, so I guess I better reset that. Okay, I've just done some skincare and watched some booktube videos, and unfortunately the weekend's over. I don't know where it went, honestly. Like I said at the beginning, we had some life admin stuff going on. It didn't go how we hoped. Like, it's not a big deal. It's nothing bad. It's nothing serious. Just like a bit of a downer. So this evening was sort of just being like, aw, damn. But I'm gonna go to bed now. I'm gonna read a bit more, and I think I'm starting another reading vlog very soon, so you'll hear more from me very soon. I don't know what to say about, talk to me down below. Let's chat. How's your weekend been? Was it a good weekend for you? I hope it was. Hope you read some good stuff. As always, if you like this video, please hit the like button down below. If you would like to see more of my videos, please hit subscribe, and thank you for watching.